So my name is Thomas Bieber. I'm professor of dermatology and allergy at the University of Bonn in Germany. And I'm working in this department as a kind of physician scientist. So I'm seeing patients in clinics and inpatients, and I'm doing research and teaching as well. I think something which is worth to be speak about is the kind of revolution that dermatologists are currently experiencing and will experience in the next years with regard to the new treatment of atopic dermatitis. So in fact, due to the progress in research and understanding of atopic dermatitis, in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, there have been a lot of new developments trying to identify new therapeutic targets to treat this extremely common inflammatory skin disease, which is atopic dermatitis. So currently we have worldwide more than 70 pharmaceutical companies who are currently developing at least one new compound for the treatment or the prevention of atopic dermatitis at any kind of severity. So this is something that we would not have expected many years ago. But currently we are looking very much forward in the future because we now have the first biologic available for the treatment of moderate to severe atopic dermatitis. And probably in the next 2 or 3 years, there will be a lot of new products coming on the market to treat that particular disease. And this will be products which on one hand will be biologics, and on the other hand, small molecules which are targeting primarily structures like JAK kinase inhibitors. This is for the systemic treatment. For the topical treatment, we will have a kind of similar development because also these JAK kinase inhibitors have now been introduced in new kind of topical formulations and will also be available in the next years for the treatment of atopic dermatitis as well. This really breakthrough kind of evolution of the new drugs available will completely change our treatment algorithm and our way to treat our patients. You have to understand that until the recent availability of, for example, dupilumab as a new drug for the treatment for moderate to severe patients, there have been almost 25 years of nothing coming on the market for the treatment of this particular population. So we are very happy to have now these new kind of developments, which in fact will enable us to have a broader kind of opportunities to select the best drug for different patients. But also we have to realize that among all these different new drugs, so far as we know, there is not really one drug which is working according to the one-size-fits-all. So in fact, even if we have, let's say, 10 or 15 new drugs in the next 5 to 10 years available, probably none of this will be able to treat all the patients in the same way. So the next development now, and we are very heavily working on that, is trying to understand the heterogeneity of this disease. Because this disease, and certainly compared to another very frequent disease, which is psoriasis, atopic dermatitis seems to be much more complex. Much more complex in terms of phenotype, much more complex in terms of genetics, much more complex in terms of immunological reaction, which is underlying the disease itself. And so far we try to understand the natural history of this disease. And it seems to be that, in fact, in terms of immunological reaction, there is a kind of dynamic process within the immune system which is underlying the chronic inflammation. So this is the typical situation where, in terms of drug development, we have to recognize the heterogeneity, we have to try to find new ways to stratify the patients, and then we have to adapt our treatment, particularly these new drugs, to these different kind of patient subgroups.